Check 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. How's that sound? It sounds a little low. Yeah. Low. Oh, got the elbow. How's that? Is that better now? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. It's a diabolically placed knob. Oh. Okay. Test 1, yes. Yay. Well, good morning. How delightful to see you and be here with you. Our apologies for the lack of heat. The furnaces are on strike. Avi and I did what we could with the repair guy, and he'll come tomorrow, which is about 1 day too late, and the room is warming up. The sun coming in makes a big difference. Thank you for the kitchen stuff, Tanny. Well, I'm having particular gratitude for being here today. Some of you know I sent out an announcement on the connections. I had a stroke last Monday. And I was on a plane coming home from Vancouver, BC, and my left foot was numb. And I thought, that's weird, my foot's asleep. And then I realized, my leg feels a little weird. That's odd on my hand. But I was cramped into a little seat, and I thought, that's odd, it's gone to sleep. And then it occurred to me, could be a stroke. And so I smiled at myself, and I repeated a little poem, and I took my fingers and did a couple of things, and everything worked. And I thought, that's very weird. Then another thought went by kind of underneath, which was, I think maybe I should get off this plane. And then I thought, it's not that big a deal. And then I went home. Jennifer picked me up at the airport, and I went home, and we spent an hour and a half at home. Then we went out to get groceries, and as I walked out, I realized, the left, there's something not right here. And so I called my doc, and he said, you are going to the ER now. Because the piece that I forgot about the stroke check, if you have numbness on one side of the body, go to the ER. So I'd like to do a little advertising for St. Vincent's Hospital, where I was taken care of like a king. I walked in, and the stroke, when you come in with stroke symptoms, there's suddenly 20 people, and they all know exactly what they're doing. And within 20 minutes, I was in a CAT scan, and then I was admitted, and I met so many amazing people. The nurses are amazing, and the stroke team and the surgeon that's actually going to do the work I need done. Amazing people, caring, taking time. They sit down and talk to you. So it turns out that the stroke was in fact a small, detectable stroke. The MRI shows that there is damage in a particular spot that makes sense with what's still numb. And there's a fair amount of numbness here to here, right to the midline. So it just feels odd. And then into my arm and my hands. However, it does not affect guitar playing. And then down the left side a little bit, and then the left leg, and then halfway down my calf, it's like there's a boot from there on down. And they say this will probably improve, but if it doesn't, I can live with it. I mean, there's no impairment. I had a stroke with no impairment. So I'm going to talk more about it in the Dharma talk in terms of that lesson. I am of the nature to sicken, age, and die. And nothing's predictable. And our health and our being alive to be with one another another time is really not a given. I mean, it really isn't. I have the sense that I was standing somewhere and a bullet was coming, and I leaned a little bit to the left, and it touched the left side of my body, but it could have been, I'm just finish the story of it. I have an aneurysm, which is fairly large. An aneurysm is a balloon-like development on the side of an artery that eventually, one like mine, will likely break. I had an aunt who had one of these, and she was very severely disabled. And the imagery, the imagery that we're capable of, the doctor zoomed in on the balloon of the aneurysm, and there's little places on the edge where it's kind of frayed, and he said that's if and when it bleeds, that's where it will break. And so he said, you've probably had this for years, so we don't have to do this suddenly today, but very soon. So the plan is I'm going to Breitenbush this afternoon till Saturday, and then likely surgery will be the following Wednesday, and then I will not be here for a month. And they don't have to cut into the brain. They go beneath the brain, through my eyebrow, or through here. They go in and they put a little clamp, like a sandwich bag clamp or something. They just clamp it off, and they have very, very high success rate. It's a very low risk surgery compared to many. So it's a plumbing job. I'm going to go in and. So you never know. And some of you may be having some feelings. It's been very interesting watching the feelings. And yay for the Buddha. Being able to see the feeling train come in and then open up into it and watch it go through, and then be able to connect and be present more again. It's really very helpful. So let's do the refuge chant and refuge song. Anybody here for the first time today? Hi, you came at an interesting time. I guess in case any of you are leaving, rather than not staying for the Dharma talk, there's one other piece. Hello, KB. There's one other thing I want to say, which is that for 3 years almost, I've been meeting with a nonprofit consultant, kind of an executive coach sort of person. And we've been putting in place a plan to make PIMC sustainable in the long run. And one thing that's been part of that is helping other people come into their power and to create the structures in the organization such that without me, it would still run smoothly. And I don't have any premonition of dying or anything, but I am going to be absent for a month. I'll be able to be on the phone after a week or two. But Gregory Malouf, who's our manager now, will be really taking the reins. And he's supported by the Teachers Council, which has been forming and getting clearer and clearer and clearer, and the board, which has been getting clearer and clearer in terms of strength of role and so on. So you needn't worry in any way that PIMC is going to be rudderless or there are such competent people in place that it's going to be really, I think, seamless. So that's a nice thing to know. All right. So for those of you that are here for the first time, the refuges, it's apparent to me we can't take refuge in our bodies. They're kind of flimsy. We can't take refuge in youth, money, beauty, power. Where can we take refuge? And the Buddha suggested that where we can take refuge is in that mysterious part of us which is awake, which right now can know that you're seeing or know that your body's touching the ground. Where does that come from? We don't know, but that it is irrefutable, right? And that's cultivable. We practice mindfulness and we practice that. Refuge in the Dharma is refuge in things as they actually are. One of the characteristics of that is they are utterly impermanent. Everything which has a beginning has an ending. And as we live our lives more in keeping with that, we spend a lot less time freaking out and resisting the way things are, because things are as they are. And lastly, the Sangha, the community, that we have a community of practice. It's a marvelous place to lean. And deeper than that, there's the community of those who have practiced down through all these millennia and have actually realized what this is about. And I'd like to take it in one other direction, which is the family of all life. There are hundreds of billions of beings alive right now, from our bacteria, brothers and sisters, to the great whales. And we're part of that. We're an integral part of that, this wave of life that's on the earth. And so that's a nice place to take refuge too, that we really, in a way, we're perfectly safe because we're that. So, please join in as you wish. I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows me the way in this life. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and love. Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community of mindful harmony. Namo Sumaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community of mindful harmony. Namo Sanghaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Sanghaya. And once more, thinking of the meaning, I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows me the way in this life. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and love. Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community of mindful harmony. Namo Sangaya, Namo Sangaya, Namo Sangaya. We are an astounding miracle that we exist. These bodies are so infinitely complex. I got a look in a brain scan of the arterial system in this brain that sits here. Good grief. It's like 1,000 freeways meeting in one spot, and that's just the blood. Hundreds of billions of connections between neurons. So it's a miracle that we're alive. And one of the elements of that aliveness is the fact that there is a body, there is matter, and it's possible to be aware of that. And if I were to say, please become aware of your hands or the sensations that are your hands, you can do that. How do you do that? I don't know how, but we all do it. Or please become aware of your buttocks where they're sitting on the cushion or the chair, floor. Or become aware of the phenomenon of fire, hot and cold. Maybe there's coolness. Where is it cool, this body, and where is it warm? We tend to say, I'm cold or I'm hot, when it would be more accurate to say, there are sensations that are interpreted as cold, maybe unpleasant. There are sensations which are interpreted as hot, maybe unpleasant there too. So we become very interested in this form that sits here. Rupa, the Buddhists say, matter. And it breathes. It breathes in and out, and there's a rising and falling of the chest and abdomen. Each breath has a beginning. And then it has a lifetime. It rises to fullness. It declines. And then it vanishes. So there's the body breathing, and then there's this mysterious capacity of being aware of it. And for thousands of years, people have used this sensation of breathing as a home base, a place to stay grounded, a place to stay in contact with the present moment. Of course, the human mind is a thought and emotion generating phenomenon. So there will be thoughts. There will be memories, there'll be plans and worries about the future. There will be moods. And we learn to see them as what they are, phenomena that occur in the present moment, that are quite impersonal. So when you can, abide or stay or rest in the sensations of breathing in and breathing out, either in the chest and abdomen or perhaps at the nostrils, because the breath is there too. Breathing in and knowing it, breathing out and knowing it. When the mind wanders, recognizing that ultimately and returning to the breath. It's very simple. And there's no violence, there's no coercion. It's just remembering, oh yes, my intention is to stay in the present moment, awake to breathing in and breathing out. it can seem like a very small thing, this awakening to the breath and awakening to whatever else happens. Interesting to note, however, that this is the leading edge of consciousness evolution. This is the transformation that has to happen if human beings are going to survive on the planet. We have to go beyond our frightened, separate fantasies and delusions. In order to do that, we have to know what they are. What are the fears that come up? What are the thoughts? What are the desires? What are the old resentments that we unconsciously cling to and create an identity out of? Who is it that we hate or fear? These are all constrictions in our great being. Each breath has a beginning. It comes out of nowhere, just like everything else. It doesn't exist, and then it exists. This is the Genesis moment right now. Some insight meditation traditions encourage us to make little mental notes like rising, rising, falling, falling, wandering, wandering, returning, returning, rising, falling, rising, falling. Strategies for helping us to become more awake now. Don't start a war with the wandering mind. We have enough war. And it doesn't seem to work very well. What works is love. love and compassion. So with great patience, love, and compassion, when the mind awakens to wandering off somewhere, come back. Come back to this sense of breathing in and out. The capacity of being aware of mindfulness, of knowing that to which we are attending, of understanding its suitability and its relevance to the Dharma. Mindfulness with clear comprehension. So we attend to breathing. We develop concentration on the breath. The mind wanders, and then awakeness occurs again. Mindfulness springs into being. There can be concentration on whatever that object is, that wandering mind. And then there's returning to the breath, to the sensations of breathing. Once again, establishing concentration and mindfulness. These are the wings of awakening, concentration and mindfulness. They are what set us free. They're supported by love and compassion. Of course, the sitting meditation is to life the mindfulness of every activity, as the gym is to one's favorite sport. It's for strengthening, for resting, for clarifying. But it's just a little piece of a meditator's aspiration. There's all the rest of life. If you were to sit for an hour a day, that would leave 23 more hours to get into trouble. So why not use more and more of your daily activity as practicing consciousness, to embrace more and more of your personality, to drive more consciously, to brush your teeth more consciously, to cook more consciously, to be on the phone more consciously, to have conflict more consciously. In a few moments, this voice is going to suggest that you move from sitting to standing. This is something you've done tens of thousands of times. Why not do it this time more consciously than you ever have before? And that would mean, before any movement occurs, being aware of the intention, being aware of this sort of plan. To be aware of intention is to begin to take the reins of our lives. So please form the intention to come to standing. But take a while to do it. Take at least a minute before you're actually standing. And then when you start to move really slowly. How does it happen that you move from sitting to standing? I would like to express my unending gratitude to Ruth Dennison for introducing movement into insight meditation practice. And in honor of her, let's play Follow the Leader. It's very simple. Being aware of the life in the body, stretching up, letting the weight come into the left foot and letting that left hand stretch for the sky. So the arm comes out of its socket and the leg pushes down. You can feel the floor against your left foot. The right foot is just enough to balance. And then shifting into the right foot, stretching up. Awake, alive, present in the body. When the mind wanders, there's pretty strong sensations to come back to. Off to the left, letting the right hand this time come all the way down. Stretching up with the left hand, the right hand hanging, stretching up. And let's let the left hand, the left side, lean over that way a little bit. Let your breath come in and then out. And then the other way. Up to the top and over. Find the places that are a little painful in that stretchy sort of way. Back to center. Stretching up. See if your right arm is completely relaxed. Really stretching up. And now letting the left hand come slowly down as the right hand goes up. Notice how you can know them where they are in space, this proprioceptive sense. Watch how at a certain point they begin to distance away from each other, and then let the weight come into the right foot, stretching toward the sky with the right hand. Weight in the heel and the ball of the right foot and stretching up. Let your left hand completely relax. Stretching harder toward the ceiling. And then letting this right hand go out to the left. Awkward bending this way, I find. And then back to the center. And then over to the other side. Seems more normal to do this. Let your breath be functioning. And then back to upright. Stretching up. Stretching up. And then letting the right hand come down, leaving the left hand right where it is. But be really mindful, awake to this hand that's coming down. Let's let the body sway. Feeling the weight shift from one foot to the other and noticing how the body moves into space with no resistance. There is no resistance in the spaciousness. And then, any way that you're inclined, let your shoulders twist or drop or turn. Move into the space around you. And being delicate in the smallness of the space with people around you, let your hands begin to explore. Let them, but really be present. Notice, sometimes the mind will say, oh boy, I didn't come to do this, I came to meditate. Well, become aware of that thought. That's meditation. Notice where it's stiff, sore, and if it's not going to hurt you, move into that stiff soreness and see if you can find a little space. There may be twists or turns or bends that you don't do anymore, that you've kind of given up on that piece of life. Why not push into that a little bit? twist and find a little more room to live in. And let's now let all that movement slowly subside. And we come to standing. Standing and really landing in your body, maybe in a way you've never done before, with that level of presence. Standing, alive. And to help us open our understanding of what meditation is, and to warm up a little bit, in a few moments some music will come on. You can stand, or I invite you to move. But to move knowing what's happening, being present in the body. We are so fortunate to be able to stand and move. It's not a given. So see what the music does for you. Present in the body.
Let it go, well, let it go. Let your sword of vengeance rest. Oh, do the blind lead the blind? Well, don't be cruel. To be kind, only then will your high house be blessed. Yeah, and offer prayer, well, offer a sweet prayer, yeah, now. To your uninvited guests. Oh, won't you give him the right, yeah, to be welcome through the night. Only then will your high house be blessed. turn your cheek, well, turn your other cheek. May your mercy manifest. Oh, when a hawk and a dove, yeah, flying circles round your love, only then will your high house be blessed. Let your sword of vengeance rest. Oh, do the blind lead the blind, yeah, yeah. Don't be cruel to be kind. Only then will your house won't be blessed. Na na na.
That's a fellow named Harry Manx. And I have an idea. To those of you that are listening on the internet, please pardon us. I'm going to ask you to turn off the sound, the outgoing sound to the net, because we're going to get a copyright. They may not let us publish it. May have to take that one off. So we'll be back. You can watch us dance or dance silently. So the mood. Movement changes mood. So let's see what happens when we hear this. alive and aware of alive. There's so much happening in the body. One of the really potent and simple teachings from Ruth Denison, I must have repeated probably 500 times anyway, or more. Darling, once you have the Dharma, you never need to wait again. There's always so much to attend to. Right? Well, nothing's happening. Well, take a glimpse inside the body. It's like a kaleidoscopic sensation show. Or watch what the mind is doing. Now that's interesting. It's like the Serengeti. There's wild creatures. So we're standing, feet touching the floor. Notice the small dance. The body doesn't stand still. It's always in motion, balancing. Perhaps we could cultivate a moment of gratitude that our bodies still can stand. Since we don't have our ramp modifications done yet, if we couldn't walk, you can't be in this building. Standing with gratitude. And we can bring awareness now into where the eyes are, the sensations in the eyes. And then notice the intention to allow the eyes to open. And then actualize, operationalize that. Let your eyes open and notice what happens next. Objects. Seeing. Now that's a trip. Seeing. Seeing. Objects. Connection. So please, I invite you to find a place to sit. We're going to have some announcements for Avi, and then some contemplation of impermanence and the blessed privilege of being whole. And then some tea and goodies.
Good morning, Sangha. So the morning got off to an interesting start. There was this, I used to hang out around bluegrass bands a lot, and I remember there was this one bluegrass band where they did this song about how chopping wood warms you twice. I think dancing does the same thing, because I don't feel nearly as cold. So first thing, happy Samhain Halloween to come. Happy Diwali. Today is Diwali in India. We also have our children's program going today without Rebecca. Rebecca is off somewhere. And I believe we have enough volunteers for today, but we always need volunteers to sign up. This is our investment in the future of the Sangha. And one day these little people will be sitting out here among us, meditating along with us. So if you feel called to it, please go to the webpage, and there's a big box there where you can sign up. And to sign up once to be with the little ones for an hour or 2 hours on a Sunday is great, but best if you could do it on a regular basis, every once a month or every couple of months or something like that, and that would be your investment in seeing the Sangha persist into the future. A reminder about parking, please park a block or two away unless you have some kind of mobility issue. It's kind to our neighbors and to the people downstairs who work in the building. Wanted to remind you, it's been a while since I've said anything about it. We have our Transitions project, that is all the stuff that is piled there. Michael is really great about getting it to the Transition project, which helps homeless people get on track with their lives. So if you have any clothes of any kind or like small useful things, please bring it in and it will make its way to the Transitions project. Oh, and by the way, my name is Avi, if you didn't know, and my pronouns are he, his, and him. We also had a volunteer day yesterday. We had about 15 people show up, and we got an awful lot of stuff done. I don't know if the feng shui of the place feels any different, but it sure seemed like it was a lot cleaner at the end. And there are ample opportunities if you would like to engage more with the Sangha to do things, to get things done, and also to meet other people. And I don't think Misty is here today, but if you feel like you would want to volunteer, please come and see me when we're having our social hour, and I'd be happy to see about getting you connected. We also had our first ever family music jam potluck yesterday, where we got 10 kids and about 20 parents, or parental figures, guardians, people with kids. And look for more of that. And if you know people who are hanging back from attending here because they have little ones and they are under the impression that we do not have a way of creating community for people with families, let them know that that is changing, and I would be happy to get you plugged in. If you go to the Children's Education Program on the page on the website, there is a link where you can join a parents group that is starting to work on programming for families and parents, and look for more of that to come. So for the weeks ahead, there's going to be a first Saturday monthly retreat with Jim next Saturday, November 2nd. On Sunday, November 3rd, we've got our monthly newcomer orientation session with Robert. And then also on Sunday, November 3rd is our next meeting of the Engaging the Dharma initiative, our initiative to take what we learn on the cushions and extend it out into the outside world in mindful activism. If you want to find out more about that, there will be a meeting after the Dharma talk on November 3rd. Thursday, November 7th is the start of Intermediate Mindfulness with Doug Pullen. For those of you who have been through the basics of mindfulness and feel ready to go to the next step, that is available. It is on the website, how to sign up. On Saturday, November 9th, we've got our stewardship retreat with Robert. That is for people who have signed up on our stewardship program to do regular contributions. And all who do that are welcome. If you would like to be a party to that, then please go onto the website. It will show you how to donate on a regular basis. It doesn't matter what you provide, and you can just provide anything. And that would be a real help to us. On Sunday, November 10th, we've got our second Sunday PIMC potluck. On Tuesday, November 12th, we've got our Skillful Speech Practice group. November 15th through 17th is a non-PIMC event, Radical Dharma with Reverend Angel Kyoto Williams. This is being sponsored by the speaker who was here last week and her organization, and there are cards out there in the front. She's talking about race and healing in spiritual communities. It's really worth attending that event. On Saturday, November 16th, we've got a retreat with Robert, Healing Self-Hatred, with Robert and Christine. Also on Saturday the 16th, we've got a Qigong retreat, half day with Jim. And also on Saturday, November 16th, we've got our Buddhist movie night. The movie is going to be A Man Escaped. On Friday, November 22nd, Engaging the Dharma is going to be doing a program to make brown bag lunches for the Laurelwood Shelter. And that will be in the morning on a Friday. If you have the space and the time, they would love to have you help come and make lunches for them. And also they need people to buy food. There will be more news about that coming up. On Saturday, November 23rd, I believe we've got our next mindfulness hike, Vic? Oh, the 30th. So on Saturday, November 30th, there will be a mindfulness hike for the hardy among you who want to go hiking out in November. And I know that you are out there. Saturday, November 23rd, we've got another visiting teacher retreat. Paige Cogger is going to be here. Details coming soon to the website. And then Saturday, November 23rd through the 24th, Robert has a Seattle retreat, and details about that are on the website. We also make Dharma consults available for those of you who want to start a practice or have issues coming up with your practice. Please contact me and I'd be happy to arrange to connect you with a teacher. And I think that's everything. I think that's enough. So I hope you all have a blessed, bright, sunny, cold Sunday. Blessings to you all.
For 30 years, the rabbi's light in his bedroom turned on at exactly 6 a.m. At 6:30 precisely, he stepped out of his front door, crossed the square, went into the synagogue, without fail for 30 years. So one day the Cossack is riding through the square. He notices exactly at 6 o'clock the light goes on, at 6:30 the door opens and the rabbi's walking across the square. And he says to the rabbi, "Rabbi, where are you going?" And the rabbi's response is, "Don't know." The Cossack said, "What do you mean you don't know? 30 years I've watched your light. It always comes on exactly at 6 a.m. and then 6:30 you step out the door. You're obviously up to no good." So he grabs him and drags him off to the city hall and pushes him into a cell, and he hits the far wall and lands on the bed and says, "See, you just don't know." I had no idea I was going to have a stroke when I said goodbye to my friend at the airport in Vancouver. And the deepest disturbance that I've experienced, and it's here now again, is when I tune into that, it's that utter out of controlness. I had no idea that was coming. I'd had a lovely morning with my friends. I'd taught a retreat at Hollyhock, and it was exquisite. We had beautiful sunny days and one of those storms where it's like freight trains going through the Douglas fir trees. 50 miles. They shut down the ferry because the waves were too great for the ferry. Oh, I just thought of something. Nice. See if it will pop into my grip. Otherwise, poetry. I guess not. Oh well. You waiting? Don't wait. Nope. Okay. regarding some of those events that were announced, if all goes as planned, the neurosurgeon has me at the top of his list for scheduling. But this aneurysm may have been here for years, probably has been. And what he said was, each year you live with it, you stand a 5 to 7% of its rupturing. So the time from now till the end of Brighton-Bush, he told me to at least take it 1 week after this last experience to rest and to not be surgeried again. But waiting for long doesn't make much sense. And the surgery is such that I'll be in the neuro ICU for at least 1 week, and then 4 or 5 days in the hospital, and then I'll be not working for a month. So that means that the retreat with Christine and I is almost for sure going to be canceled. My Sundayness here is not. The teachers will fill in on the Sundays. I will keep, or probably my daughter Tara, will keep you posted via the website, and she'll send something to Avi, and if you'll put it up on one of those boxes near the top, that way you can check in easily. And just once again to underscore this, it's a very low risk procedure. I mean, it's not like getting a toenail cut, but it's the odds are very good that it'll be fine. But they're going to be moving the brain a little bit to get at this thing, and so they're worried about not strokes. They're worried about seizures. So I'll be on a pretty strong seizure medication for about a month, and so that makes one very. So I'm getting a vacation. But more will come in terms of the cancellations, and I'm if it goes at all as planned, the Seattle retreat will also be canceled. So, the poem I was looking for is Otherwise by, I forget her name, but it's, I woke up this morning and drank my coffee. It could have been otherwise. I worked in the garden and I made love in the afternoon with my beloved. It could have been otherwise. And so on. There's a bunch of things like that. And then someday it will be otherwise. And the poet, I can't remember her name, she died about 5 years ago. So, what do we do with this? What the Buddha suggested, as far as I can make out from the teachings that I know, was to prepare. The class, my class, some of you in this room are in my class. I'm not quite sure what to do, but I think what I need to do is to basically postpone it. And that those people who want a refund can have a refund, and we'll reschedule. I'll reschedule in probably January. I should just cancel it for the rest of the year and then plan it then. And I'm framing it that I'm doing research for the class. How to use contemplation of death, how to use death as a way to be more alive, to wake up. And, it's really true. I drove into my parking spot, and it was, wow, this is great. I opened my office, and I walked in, and wow, this is so pretty in here. I'm so glad I get to be here, and here I am sitting in this context. It's always a privilege, but wow. It's quite something that we get to be together. My stepdaughter Nina off at U of O, came home, and we went out to dinner last night. And there I am with Jen and my 2 stepkids, and Adrian and Nina. And I just kept looking at them. It's like, wow, this is so cool. I get to have dinner with these people. So we could, most people, and what most people do is, I don't want to think about that. But if we don't think about it consciously, we're obsessed with it unconsciously. And we're trying to get enough money or enough youthfulness or enough something that we can ignore it, or we can watch enough TV series or consume something. But we never can really relax then, because if we relax, we realize it's a little bit on our minds. And partly it's the role I play and being connected with so many people, but I have conversations with people a lot that, I got this bad diagnosis, or my child is sick, or John just died, or because it really is happening all the time around us, and we tend to kind of shy away from talking about it. So I want to say this. My predominant experience in St. Vincent's Medical Center, that's another little plug, it was a love bath. I was the recipient of and participated in so much love. I got moved around a bit. I got taken down for my MRI. There was this really big African-American guy is where the image I started with. Here's this big guy shows up with a gurney to take me down. And I said hi, and his name was Michael. And on the way down, 4 minutes, 8 minutes, I found out he was a Nigerian, who won one of those lotteries, which now don't exist, but the immigration lottery to the United States. And he's highly educated, no credentials here, but a person of such grandeur, so amazing. And the conversations that I was able to have with him and the other people, and just the sense of all those people have dedicated their lives to so many years, some of them at least, to so many years of training for one person, me, right? I'm getting the benefit of all their years, these doctors with these ridiculous sacrifices they've made to become who they are. And they're there for me, and they take time to pay attention to me, and they care. That's stunning. I also got pretty close to it. There's a woman that comes around and she empties the waste baskets. And we had some very interesting conversation about the amount of waste in the hospital and how ecologically absurd it was. It was a fascinating conversation because she cares. So, love. And as I learned from Achan Sumedho, in love, there's room for everything. Right? There's room. We allow reality to be as it is. It's like this. And that means when the fears come along, we open to the fears. When the joy and the bliss and the beauty come along, we open to them. I also had some incredibly deep, wonderful meditation, very spacious. In the hospital, my particular place I was very quiet at night. And so there were lots of hours of just being there. And I could notice the fear and that coming up a little bit, not much, but a little bit. And then just let go of that. And then it was just, And what's there? Well, it's that which knows. It's that which is awake, which predominates. Am I making sense? A kind of, it was in the morning, not early, but 9-ish, each of the days that I was there. There came this opening to the emotions. And there they were. And it was quite wonderful to be able to turn toward them and open and realize that the self is frightened. It's like something bad is happening, right? And the self realizing that I'm not in control. I mean, I've been talking about this for 50 years, and still it comes as a surprise when, wait, my foot is numb. That's odd. It's still numb. It's very weird. If there's no impact on proprioceptive sense or on muscle, or even if I touch it and it's cold, so hot and cold are working, but it's as though there's been a shot of Novocaine. It's old Novocaine on a bunch of the left side of my body. Imagine the good fortune of having something that doesn't impair. It's kind of weird. It's like weird. So, how are you feeling? How is it to reflect on this? Everything and everything and everything that we know and are as personality is impermanent. Find this. Here it is. Nice, huh? So I'd like to do a contemplation, familiar to some of you. So I invite you to just sit and let your eyes close. Did we get back to broadcasting out to the... Thank you. So a practice from the Buddha. Five subjects for frequent recollection. I am of the nature to age. I have not gone beyond aging. Is this true? I am of the nature to sicken. I have not gone beyond sickness. Is this true? I am of the nature to die. I have not gone beyond dying. Is this true? All that is mine, beloved and pleasing, will become otherwise. Will become separated from me. Is this true? I am the owner of my karma, heir to my karma, born of my karma, related to my karma, abide supported by my karma. Whatever karma, whatever intentional actions I shall do, for good or for ill, of that I will be the heir. Of that, thus, we should frequently recollect. I am of the nature to age. I have not gone beyond aging. Is this true? Do I believe this? Is this really true of me? I am of the nature to age. I have not gone beyond aging. I am of the nature to sicken. Sickness is not an occasional accident. It's part of life. It's not a mistake. I have not gone beyond sickness. I am of the nature to die. I have not gone beyond dying. All that is mine, beloved and pleasing. I've not gone beyond dying. Is this true? Will I die? Will you die? When? Where? How? Will it be quick? Will it be slow? Will it be by accident? By disease? By famine? I am of the nature to die. All that is mine, beloved and pleasing, will become otherwise, will become separated from me. What are your precious relationships? Precious belongings, your precious achievements, capacities. All that is mine, beloved and pleasing, will become otherwise. Will become separated from me. Do I believe this? I am the owner of my karma. I am the heir to my intentional actions. I am born from my karma, related to my karma, abide supported by my karma. Whatever karma I shall do, for good or for ill, of that I will be the heir. Thus, we should frequently recollect, said the Buddha. Thus, we should frequently recollect. KB, may I borrow you for a moment? Would you come up here? Can I have your hand? I love KB. So, one could say, I don't want to reflect on sickness, old age, decay, and death, because it's a downer. Actually, when I was on my way to my first, I did a 2-month retreat pretty early in my practice, and I was on my way to Santa Cruz, where it was happening. And I passed through San Francisco, and the Hare Krishnas were in the park dancing, and it was the heyday of the Hare Krishnas. And there was free food, so I stopped. And I told this guy that I was going down to a Buddhist meditation, and she says, "Oh, Buddhist, they're talking about death all the time. They're a downer. Stay with us and chant Hare Krishna, and everything will be fine." Well, anyway, what if I dare to let myself know that I am and everyone and everything is impermanent? Then it raises the stakes, doesn't it? And what if I dare to let myself hold the hand of someone I love and realize how much I love them? Or pat my dog and realize how much I love my dog. And what happens is we get more and more full of love. And the preciousness of just that, it becomes so monumentally precious that, as Rina Sirkar, a teacher in San Francisco, put it, if we realize this, we have no choice but to become loving. We can go hard and cold and distant and pull away and use lots of drugs and drink and stay distant, stay unconscious. But if we open the vistas, the possibilities of really connecting, thank you. And I'd love to meet in that way with all of you and with everyone I meet in my life. That's really my practice. Because every single one of us is here for a nanosecond. And we can, that's why that whole thing of remembering who we hate. And they did this and they do that, and feel what it's like inside when you do that, as opposed to, wow, look at the karmic mess that person's in, and look at the bad outcomes of what they're doing. The karma, it's horrendous. And open our hearts and be compassionate, and then either break off contact, or maybe if there's someone that we can do something, someone that's doing ill that we can do something about, then let's do something about it. But let's remember that that all the world's a stage, and all the men and women are merely players. They have their exits and their entrances. Each person in their time plays many parts. We're actors on a stage. And there comes a moment when we step off stage. I mean, it's so strange, isn't it? So these encounters with our mortality and with the temporality of everything are profound stimuli for the opening of our hearts. And for there's a video I've shown on retreats numerous times. Oh, just a hint. If you like the dancing, come on retreat, because we sit for 45 minutes every morning and then we dance for 45 minutes. We dance and then stop. Maybe a minute, maybe 2 minutes, and more music. All different genres of music to watch the moods that come up. Lost my place. It's all about love anyway. Love and going through the world. The more we go through the world, I remember, now, wouldn't it be a different moment if that little rupture that I had, it wasn't a rupture, it was a little blockage, if that had happened in my speech area, I would not be sitting here. Or I could be sitting here and having all the thoughts super clear, but unable to form words with my tongue. That's just it's a little bit of geography, a different part of the brain, a little bigger clot. So we can think of that and and then pull away from it, or we can move toward it and say, wow, that is really true. Who is there that you need to forgive? What actions or inactions of your own in your life in the past? What grudges do you still hold against yourself? Why do that? It's time to stop. It's time to do the practice, to do the mindfulness practice and open up and be able to see, where am I holding tight? And I don't want to do that anymore. So maybe it's time to say, what discoveries are you making in this realm? What would you like to add to this contemplation of our possibilities of waking up and loving each other, loving ourselves? I mean, think about how crazy that is. Really think about it for a moment. This is the only moment I'm alive. The past is 100% gone, whether it was this morning or 30 years ago or 60 years ago. And yet, I can have this complicated internal process that says, you're a bad person, or you're not good enough, or you're bad, or you to this or to that. Isn't that strange? I mean, it's very common, but what a strange thing to do. And why not stop? So, who would like to speak into the Buddha's microphone? Questions or comments? We suddenly become Quakers. There's no need to talk. But if something comes up, David, please. Wait, before you do that, can I have your hand? I love this hand too. Hi, my lovely friend. Me too.
My name's Dave, he, him, his. I've had the privilege of being on retreat with this gentleman
a little closer.
I've had the privilege of being on retreat with this gentleman, and when he says it's a good thing to do, Kate, you gave me good advice. I followed your advice. How nice to be able to, conditioned as a 3-year-old not to feel anything. I can hear those songs we heard and visualize friends in the Dharma Hall in Nelson, BC, and the teachings from Robert. It's really profound. So if you get a chance to go, I'm adding to Robert's plug, go on retreat.
I paid him. If you are intending to come on this retreat tomorrow, I think is full, but if you wanted to come to the one early in January, sign up soon because it will more than fill. It'll be full, and then there'll be a lot of people turned away. Come, Vic. I guess I could get up. I mean, I'm not welded to this seat. There. Oh, this hand too?
Hi, my name is Vic. And about a year ago, I got a chest x-ray for a cold or something I was having. And the person who read the x-ray thought that there was a chance that there was something off with that. And they just left a little note. And it said, it could be, what was that now? Pulmonary fibrosis. And I don't know if many of you were in the room when we had Jim, who used to be with us.
Yeah.
He used to sit right over here, and he had an oxygen tank, and he had pulmonary fibrosis. It was a fatal condition, and he passed away about a year ago now? 2 years. Oh, good Lord.
Maybe it's not.
Yeah. And so this was a serious thing. Well, I'll fast forward. It was not pulmonary fibrosis. We went to a specialist. But for about a week or so, while we're trying to find the specialist and try to get a second opinion, there was this possibility that I had a terminal condition, mid-40s. And it was interesting. The first reaction I had was relief, which just goes to tell you about the conditioning, I suppose, and the amount of self-hatred I had. And of course, there was follow-on feelings about fear and anger and everything else. But the very first feeling was relief. And it's something that I use for contemplation every once in a while. So thank you for all being here. You folks continue to teach me on a daily basis.
Why don't you take it to the next person? Wally, over to the left.
Hi, I'm Wally. Should I come up with the...
Oh yeah, come. It's a special today. Yay.
All right. All the remembrances, I was thinking about them a lot for all sorts of things. I lost a friend on Wednesday afternoon for cancer. And, but I was thinking about them with respect to Ruth. I mean, she's not here. She aged, she sickened, she died. And all the things that were of hers are gone. She is no longer with them. But her karma allows this place to exist, and we are all beneficiaries of her karma.
That's true.
So, and I realized also about forgiveness. I have to forgive myself. I missed by just a little bit meeting her numerous times. So, having the opportunity in Southern California when I lived, She came to my Sangha a couple of times. So anyhow, forgive myself for not having met her. That always pops up when you talk about her. So I just have to let that one go. But thank you, Ruth, for her karma and bringing this
That's
to
a
us.
really great example. The wake that she has left has been monumental.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Danny, I just want to get in on the special.
Yummy. I mean, if you're going to have a body that can hurt as much as they hurt and require as much dental work as some of them need, and repairs and hospitalizations, then that's, oh God, it's good to be able to
Get your money's
squeeze-
worth.
Get your money's worth. Yeah. Get your suffering's worth.
I was just contemplating on this whole decay and our general decay, our general falling apart. And I'm serving right now on something called the Building Steering Committee. And I reflected that this edifice that we are in, which is almost 100 years old or something like that.
30. It was built in 30.
In the
so
30s.
70, yeah.
It's a little older than
It's significantly older than me.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
See? It too is subject to these rules of impermanence and decay. And we are currently and just contemplating what it's going to take in the future to restore it as well. And so I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah.
That we are, it's not just people, but we're all, these buildings, these edifices, these structures that we are in are falling apart as well. All part of the law of
Yeah.
entropy. We all tends towards chaos, right? There we go. That's where we're living.
So
with.
we might, once you stay here for a minute, we're developing a wonderful team. We have a builder, we have an architect, we have an engineer. The engineer is part of the community. His name is going to escape me for the moment, but Jacob Balderas. And the process goes by the end of the year, by sometime soon, but before the end of the year, there will be a set of master plans for what needs to be done. And from that, we can plan, and we will be doing fundraising, and we have a foundation, a donor, and a foundation that's supporting us in a variety of ways, including financially, ultimately. And this is why the ramp hasn't happened, because for the ramp to come into this room, the thickness of the walls of this room need to be taken into account. And in order to become seismically stable, this room will have, if that's the route we go, 2x8s every 16 inches along the walls, a new wall built which connects in with the roof joists and the floor joists, so the building is then supported by the new wall, because the old wall isn't very supportive. And in an earthquake, it would not be very supportive at all. And so that then means, see the doors back there? They all have to move in because there's going to be an 8-inch wall. On the inside of the 2x8s, there's plywood, which creates torsional strength, and then sheetrock on top of that. And that applies also to the front wall. So the restrooms are moving this way some. It's really a massive project. And the same process needs to happen with the living room, because it's an unreinforced concrete block building. But the whole thing, the way it's coming together is so beautiful, because it's strengthening our management development structure. It's creating the teams that are going to come out of this, and some of you will be part of it, I'm sure, by the end. It's magnificent how we're being required to grow up as an organization and to really mature. Part of the plan, and they brought this up, the foundation brought this up, is that I'm 71. that it really makes sense that 4 years from now or so, that I no longer be doing management at all, and that I just teach. And we're going in that direction already with Gregory and Avi, and so it's all happening in a rather beautiful way. And that way we're doing our best to build a structure, psychologically, emotionally, board-wise, teachers' council-wise, community-wise, that will endure over time. We're doing all that we can, and who knows, maybe it won't. But we sure are in a good spot for making it go in that direction.
We're going to rebuild Robert, and then we're going to rebuild the hall.
It's the 2x8s that make it it's like, oh, shit.
New structural posts,
Right.
adding memory.
Yes. So I think we have kids. Thank you so much for coming today and for participating. And one little, I'm not sure why this comes up right now, but there's 143 people taking classes at PIMC this fall. That's not a bad participation in classes. So thank you all for coming. Please let's make a big circle. Oh, I will touch wood, real wood. I'll be here next Sunday. That'll be my last Sunday teaching for at least a month. Okay, please bring in the wild ones and we'll go into the circle in the middle. And I think there's some tea and coffee and goodies for afterwards. Thank you to those of you who joined us on the net today.
Aren't they so pretty?
Thanks.
Gotta give a little plug.
It's a very good idea. Very.
Have to be next to each other. Yeah. That. That's that.
Hi. Hello, my dear. So I would like to thank the parents who've filled in for Rebecca today. Did you have a good time, parents who were back there? Yeah? Had fun? All right. So, did you kids have fun?
Yeah.
Yeah? May I hold your hand? Thank you. May I hold your hand? No, thank you. Okay. Could I step on your foot?
Ow! That hurt.
Oh. Oh, that hurts. Ow. I'll be good. Are you going to be good?
Sure.
All right. So please feel the hand on your right. That's a person. It's a person. Imagine that. And wish them well. How would you wish them well? What energy, what blessing would you fill your heart with to support this person on their journey? And then there's a person on your left. Give that hand a little squeeze, and what would you wish for this person? And now there's a person between your hands. Let us never neglect this person. And let's extend this love outwards to all of our circle, to the homes around us, and out into the world, to all beings. Beings, no matter what their political orientation, what their gender, what their color, culture, language. We're all just consciousness taking a body for a little while and then passing on. And I think we probably have, do we have someone to sing these two? Are you ready? Okay. You want to both hold the microphone and get nice and close? 1, 2, 3.
May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy.
All beings be happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Yay, thank you very much. Oh. That was a nice try. I'm glad you missed. All right, think of a wish, everyone. Now, wait. Don't hurry. We're going to be patient. Here we are. Now, I'm going to do the usual count. It's hard to be patient, isn't it? Oh, it feels yucky. All right, we get your wish. 1, 2, 3, blow. Yay, we did it. Success. Thank you to those of you that came in from out in the internet. Thanks to all of you. Let's go have a cup of tea and coffee and schmooze mindfully.
I love you, and I'm so glad you're still here.
Me too. Me too. Hang on, let me turn this off.